Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly trade review number 11. My name is Alex Winkler, and in this weekly trade review we are going to be focusing on how not to scalp trade and how to swing trade. So overall this week was started off a bit stressful, mainly due to the fact that I am on this streak where the first trade of the week is a loss. I think that's been going on for 4 to 5 weeks now. So hopefully this week we'll be able to switch it up and change that. Anyway, by the midweek, I was down pretty much almost about $250. But by the end of the week, as you can see, I'm up $260. And this is because by the second half of the week, I took some of my capital out of the account and slowed it down a bit, and then I specifically focused on only bigger swing trades. So I'm going to be reviewing all that and more in this video, so make sure to stay till the end. Alright, so you can see here my first trade was a little loss, and I also had a little win, nothing really clean here. And then by midweek, I really did have a nice loss in my account. Luckily, there was no major losses. These were kind of a bunch of wins and losses, and it ended up negative. This is when I switched my gears near the end and was only looking for those big scalps on those really nice setups that I like. So you can see here, I ended my weekly total at $265, and I also had no investor trades. Investor trades is something I'm going to be looking into very, very soon. I'm waiting for a few more things to happen in the market, so stay tuned for an investor watch list. To dive right into the good stuff, we'll look at the top trades. So first of all, one of my second half of the week's trades was a nice double top exponential short. I call it more of a double top, but it was almost an exponential short simply because the price was going up so fast. Anyway, I saw a nice price wall that I couldn't get past, and then I started my entry for it. You can kind of see here in this chart that how the trade went overall. This is a 15-minute chart. It would be nice to zoom in, but I'm going to be posting the live trades more often. Anyway, you can see this is roughly where my entry was, and then I held through this. To me, it was a potential, bear flag, just consolidation, but I was looking for this dip to this longer term support line, and that's exactly what happened, and this is exactly why I got out over here. Actually, if I held, the price did spike back up here, consolidated a bit, but then really crashed under this support line. So that would have been a good hold, but I don't think I would have held through that. I probably would have got out here for less of a gain. So overall, I can't complain with this trade. It was almost a 6% gain with a very small position size, hence why I only made $180 from it. Typically, I would trade twice to 3 times the amount of capital, so this could have been a really nice win. In the end, the reason this trade was one of my favorites is simply because I stuck to my planned trade, and actually it was even more than hit. So this was really nice. The next trade I want to review is the Ethereum short. This was a real exponential short. I did miss the entry a little bit, and I also took a picture from the Bitfinex trading account because I had it up on TradingView. The only difference was that TradingView is I have it on Coinbase, and there was about a $1 discrepancy. So where I put the plus and the minus was a bit off, so I kind of just took a snapshot here of where my trade was overall. I did miss this short entry, which was a little stressful. I was running around the house and I didn't really see it, although I had this in mind throughout the day that I wanted to get in if there was a nice run up like this. So when I missed this and I saw it was crashing kind of nicely, I got into my position here and then I covered a bit early, but I couldn't complain. This was a very small day trade, and I didn't want to hold it very long, so I was pretty happy about this one. The next 2 trades I want to talk about is actually the last trade I made of the week and the trade I made right before that. So the trade I made at the end of the week was this really nice breakout bounce. This was a long trade, which I haven't been doing as many. I've been mostly shorting in this market. You can see here, this was the first plus and this was the minus. This is day trade 159, and I took a small loss here, which is completely fine. I got on my position. It looks like I did get out near the near one of the all-time lows, even though it did actually go down lower. It looks kind of stressful when you see it like this, but overall I was sticking to my strategy, cutting losses, because this could fall much, much quicker. I wasn't really upset about this one, and what's even better is I didn't let this trade mess up my next trade. Although I did get I would say a little emotional and start my entry to the next trade a bit too early. I should have waited till it retested this level. Although it's always easier said than done in hindsight. Anyway, the second trade is this plus right here, and this is trade 160, and what happened was exactly like I had planned. So basically, I was looking for another breakout from this level, and I had to ride through this, which was a bit tough. I was down for a little bit, but then I held it nicely. It held its highs right here. This is actually a really, really good sign. And then here you see a little breakout from this level and an ascending triangle pattern, which is typically a 70% chance of that going through. And then we had a nice breakout. I sold right into this breakout, into the strength. I could have held again, held a bit longer and took another, maybe potentially 2% profit. But at that point, you're kind of playing with fire, and I like to take my profits off the table when I have them. Here is another review when I was up at a different point. This was the ascending triangle, and then we had that breakout again. The reason these trades I wanted to highlight specifically is because these trades were all trades I mapped out ahead of time. I really took my time to look at the different chart trends over different time periods. So, the daily, the 4-hour, the 1-hour, and then I found my position on the 15-minute and the 1-minute. Basically, I used these different timelines to confirm my entries. I actually reviewed day 3 of the free course, and I speak specifically about how I find those entries and exit points. Also, what was really nice about this, and something I don't do too much because I came from a day trading equities kind of background where I only trade the market open, sometimes the market close, so all my trades would be under an hour. I'm not really used to swing trading, and I'll talk a bit more about that. But this is something I've been trying to work on and develop over time because I've noticed I typically get out too early, or I have a kind of smaller time horizon. These trades were really, really nice because I held a bit longer, increased my time horizon a little bit, and really slowed it down, which gave me a lot more time to do other things since I wasn't always looking at the charts, and I was able to really get those bigger percent gainers. And although I was using a smaller account size at this time, I was using roughly about $3,000 to $4,000 per entry, and I still had pretty nice returns. So in the future, I want to build that position size up again. So this is where it gets really good, and something I'm a little disappointed about. So the biggest lessons to start off with EOS, this was I think the second trade of the week, and this could have actually been my best trade. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, how my scalping is kind of at the wrong times. Anyway, here you can see exactly what I did. This was a nice ascending channel, which typically breaks down to the downside. I got in a bit too aggressive here. I should have waited. I should have gotten actually over here at this support line. This would have been a classic breakdown bounce trade if I got in right here. I mean, there are so many indicators, right? We had this breakdown bounce, then we had this ascending triangle hitting near a former support line. I mean, this is every flag in the book. However, I missed this entry. I got down here. I don't know why. Probably because I thought it was going to be crashing really fast. I could have gotten in again over here, but I already filled up most of my position size over here that I wanted to. Anyway, I got actually out at this breakdown confirmation, which is typically when I would get into a short. Like I said, I was trading this as a very small day trade and not a swing trade, and this would have been perfect. This actually crashed very, very down to 5.6, even a bit lower. This could have been a well over $500 profit, this trade, if I just held a bit longer. So that's why, even though this was a small profit, I wanted to review it as a kind of a loss because it really was a missed opportunity and one of the best opportunities. I mean, this really is one of my favorite trades right here. So again, what I should have done is wait for the price to come up to this line. Again, we had a breakdown bounce, so we had a breakdown of this support line, and then we bounced back up to that support line, which is one of my favorite patterns. And we also had an ascending triangle, which typically breaks to the downside. So if I shorted near the high of this, it would have been a huge indicator. If I really want a confirmation that the price was going to keep going down, I could have again shorted here. Because again, this is a breakdown bounce. We have a breakdown of a major support level, and when it retests that high, that's typically a good time to short. If the price keeps going up, then you just close your position, cover it, you take your small loss. but that's fine. You know, you're not always right. But statistically, this is a 70% chance, give or take. And right here, we would hit this high and then we would break down, and that's exactly what happened. So here would have been a good entry if I was getting a little aggressive. If I wanted more confirmation, I could have got in over here. Again, just hold. But for some reason, I traded this completely wrong, and I really wanted to review that trade. This is actually a trade, also a profit, but I was trying to make up for my poor trading in 149. So I guess you can say it was a bit emotional. Again, I could have had a longer time horizon, but it was a nice little profit, but I had a fairly decent position size. So this profit is actually a lot smaller than it looks percentage-wise. It was only a 1% gain. I mean, that's really nothing. And you can see here, this is a bit more zoomed in of the last pattern, and I shorted that breakdown bounce confirmation. If this reached a bit higher, I would have got out, but it did exactly what I had planned. Maybe went a little higher than average, so this was a bit scary at first. You can see that we broke down super nicely, and I got out a little too early. I could have held way longer, and actually this kept crashing. This would have been a really top entry, mainly because of we had multiple confirmations that the price would potentially be going down because of one, these ascending channel pattern, and two, we had a breakdown bounce, and then three is the support line right here that is now the new resistance line. So this is a really good time to get aggressive on your short. And if I just opened one position here and held a bit longer till at least the 5.6 to look for this kind of double bottom to get out, then this trade could have been easily in the hundreds and really nice. So the next trade I want to review is kind of a funny one. It's XRP. This was the day where I was really over trading, and if I consolidated my trades to a few better entries and kind of took a backseat position, this could have been really good. And I'll show you here, this chart really sums it up. This is how scatterbrained I was on Wednesday. So I shorted my initial short, you can see, was here. I think this is only 4 of the 5 trades I did that day. This is an ascending triangle pattern. This is something you should not be shorting. I actually was trying to do a little exponential short here, and it worked at first, but then I got out too late. So I should have covered my position probably around here when I was holding its highs. Anyway, I was a bit stubborn, held a bit longer, and then it eventually did break out. I did close my position. So you can see, you know, here was a mistake. Here, again, I was looking for a crash, mistake. And then finally, the one good trade I did is this support line you can see here. This is a longer multi-day support line from the former breakout level. I did do a really nice bounce here, so I finally had a bit more reasoning and sold here. This was actually a really nice day trade. And again, this is actually perfect. You can almost see kind of the channel right here if I drew 2 lines, and you can see that this was a breakdown bounce, kind of like I talked about with the old trade. The EOS short that I did. So this was a breakdown from the ascending triangle, ascending channel pattern, and I shorted again here. It broke down perfectly. For some reason, I did not get out. I don't know why I didn't get out here. I think I was getting too greedy and was really hoping for a crash, but this was a huge mistake on my part, and I covered for a small loss here. This could have easily been, you know, $60 to $100 profit. For some reason, it was now $80 loss, simply because I didn't really stick to my scalping rules. So if I'm really into these little day trades, I traded this like a swing, and if I wanted this as a swing, I would have waited for, you know, a larger, it would have been a whole different trade. So as a scalp, and this is really what I want to hit home with this trade, if I was scalping, which I was doing, but I was thinking more of like larger return swing trades, I would have definitely got out here. I mean, this is a clear support zone. So we were just testing it once. Rarely do you break down right again. In hindsight, this is a very obvious mistake what I did here. A beautiful entry, horrible exit, right? This could have really been a nice, you know, $150 day profit with this trade and this trade added together. So yeah, in the end it was a loss simply because of all these little mistakes along the road. So something I would like to bring home in this video is if you're going to scalp, remember to take profits quickly. Treat your scalp like a scalp and not like a swing trade. And this is something that has definitely been an issue for me over the time. And again, I'll tell you why, and I'm not trying to blame my past or blame anything, but when I was trading equities, which I still do and I have a lot of fun with, but I do it a lot less because I really want to focus on perfecting my crypto trading. So with crypto trading, I had a very specific style. I would trade the morning opens, and all my trades would typically be between 5 and 15% I was looking for in returns. And this would only take about under 10 minutes sometimes, maybe 30 minutes. Market opens at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then I would be out, before 11, I was basically done trading. So this was a kind of a different style that I bring over some of it, and I haven't tuned it perfectly yet, the other parts. But what I want to focus on is if you're going to be scalp trading with crypto, you have to plan ahead and know, take profits maybe at 1 to 3% and lower your stop loss. That way you won't have a lot of the issues that I had this week. Otherwise, look for those bigger swings, and I think the bigger swings is what fits most people's schedule a lot better. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of the swing trading, and when I am scalping, I'll be kind of lowering my my profit margin a bit. I always like this part. What's next? What should I focus on next week? Again, I actually kind of reviewed it right here above in the last section, but what I did midway this week was I removed almost half of my capital, so I wouldn't be making these quick mistakes, and I was looking for swing, and I would kind of be forced to be looking for bigger returns. So I took down my position of roughly 6K and I removed it to 3K, and I've already built that back roughly to 4K. And I want to take it back even, actually I don't want to take it back even more. Now I want to start building it back to 6K, and once I hit 6K, I want to build it to 10K, and once I'm at 10K, I want to maybe hold it there for a little bit, get used to it, and ideally work my way up from there. That way, hopefully, within a few weeks, I will only need to make just a handful of trades to go well over my $1,000 a week goal. Simply because I would just do the same trades I'm doing right now, but if everything was basically times 3, I would have much larger returns. So if this was times 3, you could see that I would be more around $750 profit. And this is simply only done by increasing the amount I go in with a trade. Again, here you can kind of see some of my ratios. If I am going to do some scalping, some really quick day trading, I'm going to be looking for only about 2 to 3% profit. Otherwise, I'll be sticking to my usual plan, 5 to 10% profit, and with the swing trade, no losses greater than 1.5%. Just my last little bit of housekeeping, I'm also not done yet with the pattern statistics. This is taking a bit longer than I planned, and I've also been doing a lot of other business stuff that kind of takes my time away from doing the patterns. But I'm also actually going to Scotland tomorrow for a week, a little less than a week, so that takes away even more time. But hopefully I can see if I finish that by the next trade review. I hopefully can. I don't think I'll make a video about it in this week. For sure, in the early half of October, we'll 100% get it out. One last thing to show you guys here is that I am currently in a Ethereum short. I already have the post about it. You always see the post as it kind of comes. I don't have the final review yet, obviously, because the trade is not closed. You can kind of see my entry here. I shorted right around here in this level. What I am looking for is this longer term head and shoulders. You can kind of see there is a shoulder here, head here, shoulder here, and I'm looking to cover around in the 202 area. I have the trade mapped out fairly nicely. It's going to be a longer swing trade. We'll see what happens. Always check back to the website to see any updates, and check out the chat. I'm actually going to be updating a lot of the chat. We're switching to actually Discord from the old chat. And there's going to be a few changes. I'll make a video about all the changes and all the new stuff that's happening. So look forward to that. Alright guys, that's everything for this week. I don't want to take any more of your time. Thanks for tuning in and staying till the end. Till next week guys. Ciao, ciao.